Guys, I wanted to share with you my Principles of Human Services for ninth grade journal that I made. It is what we're going to be working off of for this school year. I have a video on this from last summer. I added to the journal this year just because using it, I had 2 journals last year, and keeping up with the keeping up with the 3 was a little bit more difficult, and I eliminated one and added a whole new one, and so now this is what my journal looks like here. And I already put the bind on it, the comb. Again, this I do have a video how to make these. This is what the machine is called, okay? It's super easy. Combine C20 is the name of the machine. It tells you the sizes here on the side, so depending on how many sheets of paper that you're going to be utilizing. The combs come in a box, just like so. You use the machine, you punch the hole, and then you add the bind to it. It does take a little time when you do a big stack of papers. Just keep in mind, make sure to align the papers correctly on the machine, so that way when you put it through the comb, just watch the previous video and you'll see how, but when you put it through, if it's not all the same size, let me find the one here. If you don't do it correctly, then like this one, I don't know if you can see very well with the light here, but it's off. And to me, that drives me insane, and it's not perfect. So I think my students, I don't know, deserve better than a crooked, because that would make me just want a better one, but that's just me. What happened was the stack back here, and actually it's like a whole stack. Let me see if you can, all of those papers back there and that stack back there. I had to, I went ahead this school year at the end to get ready for the following school year. I got all of my copies made, so that way, because I know the whole school is busy making copies, and so I went ahead and made my copies at the end of the school year to have them ready so I can work on it over the summer, so that when I come back, I'm not stressed out, it's already done, and I'm good to go. I made a little bit more extra copies in case I have a student that comes in that wasn't on my original roster, etc. And then I also made some extra copies, 1 per class period, so that one is my example. But what I did last year is I just had 1, and I would do it for first period, but it was already done for second period, so it was hard. I was having to make copies, and so I just have 5 class periods, so I made 5 extra of all of them, 1 for each class period. That way it's nice and fresh, and I was able to work with it. So I want to go ahead and go over the 9th grade Principles of Human Services. I know a lot of cosmetology teachers switched over to the Principles of Color Theory and Hair Design, I believe it's called. I'm not teaching that this year, so for those of you that are teaching just the regular Principles of Human Services, this is great. If not, if you're teaching something different, then just an example of what you could do for yours. So here in the front is just the title sheet, cover sheet. I did do it on cardstock, because if you do regular paper, after a while when they open and close, it's going to tear the sheet on the front and on the back. So on the back it does have a cardstock. So I did do that different this year as well. When you open it up, the first thing that you're going to find is Chapter 1, Vocabulary. So before, we used to have them bring a journal, and they would take their book and they would do their vocabulary for homework or whatnot. They would do their vocabulary, and then in doing their vocabulary, that was an odd picture to, that's, what chapter is that? Preparing for Children. That was an odd picture, sorry. Whenever you, they would come in and they would copy the vocabulary words on a their journal, and they would turn it in. Okay, so sometimes some of the chapters had a lot, or if you assign it for homework, then they don't do it. So sometimes what we ran into is that they were shorthanding, or they were just not working on it, or they lost their journal, or whatever. We've heard of all the excuses before. So, and then it would take up, so then we stopped doing the homework part of it, or I stopped doing the homework part of it, and I would just assign as an assignment during class. What I do is I assign vocabulary or bookwork on Mondays, so that way, because it's Monday, they're not ready to come back yet, their mind's not all fully focused, and sometimes, teacher-wise, there's things that you need to do, check email, or, more than anything, if a student was absent the week before, you want to make sure that you give that student the time to, maybe they ride the bus and they can't stay, or they have a job and they just can't stay, or they have to go pick up their little brother or sister, or whatever the case may be. Especially in our school, most of our students ride the bus home. But what you want to offer is your students that need the extra practice, or didn't understand something, or didn't get the skill, or missed out on a day of school. You want to pull, or someone that you just see is struggling, you want to pull them aside and have that one-on-one. Well, when in the world do you get time to do that? There's only one of you in the classroom. So one thing that I really love is that on Mondays it's chill day. So you come in, you read the board, it says on their vocabulary, get your book, get your journal, have pen, pencil, have a seat, put your earbuds on, and then get started. It's due at the end of the class period. Put a sticky note on it with your name on the sticky note, so I don't have to flip through 100 journals to find the top chapter that I'm grading. So I just flip through the sticky, and turn it in, and then we're good to go. You're done. And it makes them hurry. It makes them work faster because it's due in that class period. And our school is 45-minute class period. So for the 9th graders, 9th and 10th graders. So it keeps them working. They come in, they get it done. They're occupied working on self-learning, for example. They have to go through the chapter, find the vocabulary words, have to write them down, okay? That allows me, that frees me up from having to stand up in front of the classroom and instruct, and then frees my time so that I can pull those students aside and say, okay, I noticed that you were having trouble with this braid. Okay, come on over, let's go to the mannequin and let me, help you with it. Another thing is, okay, well, your grades are low. How can I help you? A lot of times, we have the students that are low on grade-wise, and, teachers, you're so busy. There's just not enough time in the day, in the week. There's not enough time to catch every single student. But this allowing you that time to be available for those individual students that need it or want it, or if you've got a stick skills USA in there somewhere, that we all know that gets crazy busy, that gives you that opportunity, that gives you that time. You just want to make sure that your students don't take advantage of it, and you, the teacher, don't take advantage of it either. You want to make sure that it is a time that is productive. The students are learning from the book, going through the chapter, doing their vocabulary, and you, the teacher, are being productive, not just sitting at your desk, just checking email, but sitting at your desk, checking the grades, calling the students up. Hey, I'm grading this paper. I noticed that you didn't do so good. Have a seat. Let's review. Let's go over. Whatever, like I always say, whatever the case may be. All right, so that's what I do for Mondays. So what I did is, it's crazy to have to type each individual chapter. So in this particular book, I believe there's 25 chapters, and I had already made these copies beforehand, so I didn't think to change the color of the pages. Oh, there's 25 chapters. But next time I'm going to change the color of these pages so it's easier to flip through where the front of my next section is. They'll probably put a little tab or something, but just for next time. So anyway, going through 25 chapters, finding the vocabulary words, typing it up is a headache. Okay, it takes a lot of time. So I found a way around it. So what I did is I pulled up an email on my phone. Okay, like I'm sending an email. I put it on voice record as instead of typing it, I'm recording myself and it's typing it out for me. And then I went through and I went through each chapter and I read each vocabulary word. So in this particular book, here are my vocabulary terms, okay? So I went through and I said to the phone, to the speaker, chapter 1, understanding yourself. Heredity, environment, cultural heritage, ethnic group, personality, etc., etc. And then I would go to chapter 2. And then I would say chapter 2 or whatever. There's different sections in chapter 1, but chapter 2 and then continue. And so I did that for all 25. And then when I was done, I sent that email to myself. I went to my computer and you can do it all on the computer, but I did it on the phone, then the computer. And then on my computer, what I did is I went ahead and put copy pasted from my email to a Word document. Then I went through and I spaced everything. I checked for spelling and all that good stuff. I put the title, I didn't number them, gave enough space to write it out, and then just my name and date and stuff at the bottom. I dated just so that way I know it's a current list in case the book changes for whatever reason. And so anyway, those are the 25 front and back, 25 vocabulary chapters, vocabulary. So they'll come in, they'll get their stuff, they'll fill it out. It's all or nothing, and they've got to give me all of the definition. It's easier for me to grade. Sometimes before, when they would have their journal, they wouldn't number, and then they would skip some words, and I wouldn't catch it because, you know, you've got so many to grade. So this way, this is what you have to do it or don't get your credit. It's all or nothing, right? So that's that. Behind that vocabulary section, I added this new section of the journal. So this one here I got off of Pinterest. It's just a picture. I liked it better in color, but you know, that's more expensive, so I just did black and white. So that's the front cover. Behind that, so this is going to be our theory journal. So, well, not necessarily theory. I haven't decided yet, but what I added are different head sheets. Let me see if I can just skim through these. And all of these head sheets I found on Pinterest and Google, and there's so many different when we work on eyebrows and eyeshadows and contouring and stage makeup and old age, aliens, monsters, face shapes, that's contouring, that's just a fun sheet. Hair cutting. When we do diagramming, when we do nail art. Okay, I have those sheets in here already. Business, salon business. When we do commercials, any fun lessons there, like Medusa and sequins and eras and masquerade designs. My henna packet is here, and I think that is the end of the packet. Ooh, no, sorry. We have fashion design here on the end, which is something that I teach the students as well. So just different fashion design, little figures for them to draw their designs onto. And of course the cardstock on the back cover. All right, so the reason why I have this is sometimes I did this for many reasons. I do a lot of copies during the school year, and it takes time. So this way I put together the copies of, so I have my lesson binder from last year, this last school year. I took all of my copies, my original copies out from the binder in that order that I had put them in, and then I made this journal now. So I went ahead and made the copies, or got the copies made. I went ahead and put them in the journal, and now all I have to do during the school year, say, okay guys, go ahead and pull out your journal, turn to, and I didn't number the pages because they're just a bunch of copies. Okay, so we're going to be working on salon business, okay? So go ahead and find the shopping bag. And today for your salon, you're going to design a logo for your business, and that logo is going to go on your shopping bag that your customers are going to put their salon products in. Turn to that page, okay? And then you can start from there. So this is work at the front, and then later throughout the school year, my copy is already done. You know, the students already have it. Their name is already on it. All they have to do is just open to that page that I need, and then they need to just follow the instructions. I did ask for this in cardstock, but I love this. This is really cool. I did ask for it in cardstock, but that was a little bit more expensive, and so I just had to do regular paper. Next year, I'm definitely going to do cardstock, because when you do nail polish, per se, on this sheet, the nail polish is going to seep through. And so we'll see how that goes this year, but I just wanted to try it out. But cardstock's still a bit more expensive, so I'll probably buy cardstock with money from the budget for this year, and then save it for the end of the school year when I make my copies for the following year. So I'll just rotate it that way. So anytime that I'm absent, I don't have to make copies. It's done. All right, guys, turn to the, turn to the face shape sheet, and I can just put this sheet, pull it out, put it on the board. Turn to this sheet, and you're gonna highlight and contour the different face shapes, or cut out from the magazine. Three people from the magazine, 3 pictures that match each individual face shape, whatever the case may be. All right, so it's done. I'm done. I don't have to do it again. If I want to add to it, I can. I probably won't. I mean, there's plenty of sheets in here for the whole school year. All of these go along with the lesson that I did last year. You know, it's just, you know, like that little squirrel that, you know, works really hard at the beginning and then just enjoys it and relaxes later because he's ready and prepared and done. One thing that a motto that I like to live by is win because you're the most prepared person in the room. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it takes effort. Yes, it takes research and copy paste and, you know, line it up and take white out and, you know, white out any marks or scratches if it didn't look good, and make a new copy, and so that way it's nice and white and it's portfolio ready, you know, for your students. It takes a lot of time now, but my school year is going to be so much less hectic and so much more easier because I did all of this already. Now for you new teachers, this is 7 years in the making, okay? So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I gotta get it done now. Like I said, I made my lesson binder from last year. When I did an activity or worksheet, I would put it in the binder with my lessons. So my worksheets were in there. When I was ready to do this, all I did is pull out my worksheets and then make a copy of the stack, and this came out. Okay, so, and you can always rearrange it according to your year at a glance, like you saw in the other video. But you always want to make sure that put a little bit extra in here in case that you do run out. Put a little bit extra, that way you have days if you're going to be out with substitute, or you've got, you know, testing, and, you know, you've got students that are in but it's not really a lesson day because you're not having the full time or whatever. But just make sure that it's something you familiarize yourself with it so that you know what's in here, and don't freak out that you need to get this done now. Just maybe prepare this year, put a binder together where you're adding all of your worksheets, so then that way next year or come May, maybe do it in April, maybe because May was a little stressful, but April you start to get your copies ready, and then you're done and you're good to go. Okay, so this is fabulous. I loved the vocabulary part last year. It was great. If the students weren't able to do it on Monday, if they were absent, you know, they just take their journal, they knew what chapter we were on and they just did it. They turned it in with a sticky note with their name, so that way I could just flip to the sticky note. I don't have to flip through 105 different journals to find what I'm grading. I would put the grade on it, give it back. They would flip through it, see their grade, and we're good to go. All right, so these go in crates, so that way each class period has their own crate and everything is put together. I love this idea. So hopefully you get a good idea. You got good ideas from it. You got inspired. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. A lot of these I got off of Google Images, and then I also got a lot of these off of Pinterest. So it's now, I think only like the henna worksheets, I created this. And then there's like one nail sheet that I created. Other than that, everything is from a book or a worksheet or a coloring book or something of the sort. So just have fun with Google and Pinterest. They have tons of stuff available. Now, if you're gonna sell it, make sure it's your own original material. But if you're just gonna use it for your classroom, you know, you're good to go. Just make sure you're aware of all the copyright laws and all of that in case you're copying from a book or a resource. You won't get yourself in trouble. But other than that, this is awesome. I love it. I hope it works for you. If you do use it, again, if you need anything, let me know. Find me on Facebook. Be more than happy to help you out. Thanks for watching.